Hello everyone, today we'll explore the main Kubernetes objects related to pod creation and interaction. The topic of today's lesson is labels and replica sets. We will learn how to group pods. We will also learn how to automatically create multiple replicas of single pods using some Kubernetes objects. At the end of lesson, we will practice a little with them. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to interact with the group of pods using the kubectl utility. In Kubernetes, as the number of pods grows, potentially to hundreds or thousands, it becomes impractical to manage them individually. To address this, Kubernetes provides several mechanisms to group and select pods based on criteria, primarily labels and selectors. In this manifest pod, you see three labels. Labels are key-value pairs attached to objects like pods that convey user-defined and identifying attributes like app equal Nginx, environment equal dev, and you can point here labels like team that develop backend, for example. Let's see in practice how to add labels to a pod specification. Let's open our previous pod specification with Nginx and add labels app equal to Nginx. We have to define labels in metadata blocks next to the name of pods and optionally with namespace. Let's save and create our pod in Kubernetes cluster with command kube with utility kubectl. Explain you a little bit later. Let's try it again. Pod is created. You can view labels on pod by using the show label parameters. We see that our pod has been created and has label app Nginx and environment equal prod. So we saw how to add labels to the pod. Now let's see what we can do with them. What is the selectors? Why I should use it? Let's imagine you can have two applications in your Kubernetes cluster with app Java and Nginx, and you can later select this pod using these labels. For example, service could route traffic only to pod app Java. This service will only send traffic to pod that match this label. Selectors allows you to filter and operate on groups of resources that match specific label criteria, like in our case application Java. Great, we've seen how to run a pod and set labels and how selectors use them labels to identify resources. But here's a big question: what if pod crashes or get deleted? How do I keep exactly 3 copies running at all the times? That's where ReplicaSets comes in. A replica set in Kubernetes ensures that specified number of pod replicas are running at any given time. You can define it using a YAML manifest or via the command line. Here's an example of YAML manifest. As you can see, API version of ReplicaSets, next line kind that specifies that these resources is exactly replica set and not pods or other kind of resources. Next is the metadata. It's basic information such as name or labels of replica sets. Next, here you see number of pod instances to maintain, in our case 3 replicas of pods. Next, you see in block spec selector define how to identify pods managed by replica set, and spec template, the pod template used to create replicas. Okay, let's go to console and see practical how it works. Okay, here you see a specification of replica set resource. Let's save it and exit. Now verify replica set and pod. Get rs. We see that replica sets was in state ready, desired state of 3 pods. Okay, now let's verify pods with label app Nginx, kubectl get pods -l app equal Nginx. You see 3 replicas now is running. Up and running. So let's scale replica. Replica can scale your pods, number of pods. Jinx replica set paste with option replica set replicas equal 5 is skeletal. Let's do command kubectl get pods again. As you can see, we have running additional 2 pods. Now let's delete one of the pods and see what happens if you delete one of the pods or pod your crashes. For example, kubectl delete pod. Now you see that replica set create a new one pod that appears immediately. So the replica set acts as your pod's reliable guardian. It maintains the right number of instances, recovers from failures, and supports scaling. In through you'll usually interact with deployment in real world is the replica set that does the heavy lifting under the hood. If this video helped you understand replica sets, consider subscribing. It really supports the channel and helps me keep making free technical content. Bye bye.